Hello and welcome to this video. I'm going to show the solution for the practice midterm. I encourage you to do it by yourself before you look to this video. So let's start by having both files open. Let's go to the B. Here we need to insert table. We've done this a few times ago, so we need also to name that table student information. I'm going to use the copy function. So, and use the headers as a tuple named range. So we've used this a few times, so you should be familiar with that one. So you go and select the whole data here from A5 all the way to I16. You go to insert, and then inserting a table, okay? Excel will know this is your field. We're going to use the my table has headers, so these are the headers names. And you click OK. Now a new tool, table tools design shows up. You can name the table. The name here is going to be the student information. You hit enter. So this is the table name. This is not the range name. This is something different. Okay, in the range name, you need to go to formula, and you create from selection. And we use the top row as our names, okay? So what it's gonna do is that it's gonna name these cells, this name range, and these for this, and so on. So instead of doing that manually, you should just do that in one click, okay? You can verify that by going to this section. You would see that all the names are created for you. For example, if you go here and click GPA, you'll see the GPA is highlighted for you. This is very important to do calculations. We'll finish this one, pretty much straightforward. Here we're going to use a VLOOKUP function. So specifically say use a VLOOKUP function in H6. I want to return the grade. So we have a small table here. This small table could be in another workbook, could be in another worksheet, doesn't matter. It has already a created name for it here, so a little grade. It's already created for you, so you can use that. We're going to look up the value here, 3.21, look it up there, and return the approximate one. So it's we have the GPAs here as this, differences of 0.5. So 3.21 is not there. The nearest one is 3. The nearest lowest one is 3, so we should be returning a B minus here. So what we're going to use is we're going to use the VLOOKUP function, okay? And our lookup value is going to be the G6, the value in there. So you can type it, you can select it, whatever works the best for you. The table array, you could start typing it. So it's letter grades, or you can go and select it from there. So the table array, and we are returning the second column. So you're returning the values in the second column from this array. This is the first one, this is the second one. So we're returning the second. And finally, we want the approximate match. If these values are exactly available here, we use this, the exact match. In this one, we're going to use the approximate match. Okay? Click the parentheses, click enter. We did one mistake there. We're using G6. That's weird. Oh, sorry, we're using G6 there. Okay, see, small mistakes can be crucial. Okay, so G6 is there, and now everything's good. Okay, so this is G6. VLOOKUP. There's a HLOOKUP that looks values in rows, so this way, not this way. So it look values in 2 rows. So be aware of that. Here we're going to use a nested if functions to return 150 if gold if the volunteering hour is above 150, and silver if it's between those 2 values, or bronze else. Okay. So volunteering levels, if this value is greater than 150, it's gold. If it's greater than 100, it's silver, and otherwise it's going to be bronze. So this is called nested if. What we're going to use is that you're going to use if function, and we're going to say if this value is greater than or equal. Is it greater than or equal? Doesn't matter here. More than, no, so it's not equal. So it's just more than 150. Then we want to return the value here is going to be between parentheses gold. Okay, between double quotes. So, all right. The value if else here could be either two values, could be silver or could be bronze. How are we going to do that? By another if function. So instead of typing something there, typing else or any value, we can type another if function. Okay, and this says that the logical test here is the same. If this value is greater than 100, we're going to return the word silver. Else, okay, we don't need another if function because only two values there. It's either silver or bronze. All right, make sure that you're closing the parentheses correctly. This is the red parentheses. This is the black parentheses. You can see it's illuminate for a while. And you click enter. So we have gold, gold, silver, bronze. Everything is configured. We go to this one. Small table down there. Here we want to count the students, the number of students who are senior and also computer science, okay? So their year is senior and their major is computer science. What we want to use here, count F cell. So we have two conditions there. The year has to be senior and the major has to be computer science. So we use count Fs. We have to know the number of those students. The first criteria range is going to be the year. This is our range, okay? Year, it's not a function, it's the name range that we created, year. And the value in the year has to be senior, so we put that in between double quotes. The second criteria has to be the major, okay? Major, you don't have function called major, so this is our range name. And the value here has to be computer science. So, right, and we close the parentheses. So we're going to count values that has these two conditions, and obviously it's 2. Okay, senior and computer science. No one else has senior and computer science. Here we're going to calculate the total hours, volunteering hours. So for those two students, how many total hours they worked as volunteering? Okay, so we're going to use some ifs here. Functions called some ifs. This is the second one here. Some ifs. Now, some ifs, look at this, it's different. So it will ask you which range that you need to sum, because you have multiple criteria. It might be none of them need to be summed. You need to sum a third range. Okay. For this one, for example, we want to sum the volunteering hours, but the conditions are from these two columns. Okay. So the sum range is different than the range, the criteria range. So we want to sum the volunteering hours. We want to sum the values here that has two conditions. That's in the row here, the year has to be senior, and the second range here, the major, has to be computer science. And you close the parentheses. So the total is 334, the sum of these two values. Here you want to know the number of students who have D minus, only D minus. So there's only one condition here. We're going to use the count if, okay, one if there, one condition. So we want to tell the range and the criteria. So the range here is going to be the grade, and the criteria here has to be D minus. Only one criteria, okay? So we only have 2 students have D minus, those 2. And now we want to calculate their total hours. The same thing, so the volunteering hours, how many hours did those 2 students work? And to do that, we use sum F. Look at the difference here. The sum range is optional because sometimes the range and the criteria are the same thing that you want to sum. If you didn't put the sum range, it will assume that you want to sum the range here. But we're going to use that one there differently, okay? The range here is going to be the grade and the criteria has to be D minus. But these 2 brackets means this is optional, but here we need to use that because we cannot sum the values here. We need to sum the values in the volunteering hours. So here is going to be volunteering hours. That's 205. C23, we need to return the total hours of volunteer work. Okay, now we did that one. C26, we want to return the first name of the student that has the highest GPA. Okay, here we didn't give us a hint about the functions that we need to use. But think about it for a while. Who got the highest GPA here? Okay, this student, he or she got 4.15. We're gonna know that she is Alexia. Okay, Alexia got 4.15. Okay, we want to return the name Alexia here by using, actually we need 3 functions here. We need the index function, the match function, and the max function. What these 3 do, I'm gonna break it down for you so in order to understand that. The index function, what the index function do? The index function return a value in an array by giving the array name and the row number, okay? So our column is optional, but the array here is the first name, and the row number here, if I want to return Alexia, okay, I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know she's in the row 6, and I don't need a column there because my array is just 1 column. So what this is going to return me? The name Alexia, okay? But the number 6 here is hard-coded. I want Excel to find out who got, among those, who got the highest grade. So I need to add another function there, which is going to be the match function. The match function will return the row number. Okay, it will not return the value inside that one, will return the row number. So I'm looking for which value here? I'm looking for 4.15. So my value here is 4.15. I know this is my highest. I'm looking that up in this array, in GPA array. Okay, and my matching type is going to be the exact. So I want to look for 4.15 exactly here. Okay. And it will return me the row number. It will tell me this value you're looking for, 4.15, is in the number 6 row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's there. It's number 6. So index function will return the value inside an array. Match function will return the row number of an array for a specific value. But now, why I select 4.15? Because it's the maximum, right? So if you write another function called max, and you just type in the column name, it will return you the 4.15. It will return the value 4.15 for you. So this one, instead of typing 4.15 hard-coded there, you want it to be a function that returns the 4.15, because these values could change. Okay, this one could increase his or her GPA, and she become the highest grade. Okay, so this function is going to be replaced, or this one going to be replaced by the max function, and this function, the number 6, is going to be replaced by the match function. So how to do that here? You will just go and type index, and the array you're looking for is the first name, and the raw number is an output of the match function. So you put the match function there. And your lookup value is not 4.55, it's not hard-coded, but it's the maximum value that comes from GPA. This is your lookup value. And where you are looking up that one, you're looking up at the GPA, okay? The GPA column, where your match is going to be the exact match, the 0 match. Okay, you click enter, and it's Alexia. Is our first name there. This is the full function. Try it out. You hope this was a useful explanation. But we need to move on to the next one. This one we're going to use if and function. So the status here says if the number of donated computers is it 30 or more, and the number of laptops is 50% or more, then we're going to return the word goal met. Okay? If it's not, we're going to return under goal. So there are two conditions, not only one. We need one if function, but inside it we need an and function. So if you go and start with an if function there, and if you have one condition, if you say your logical test is donated laptops is greater than or equal 30. This is only your condition. Okay, I want you to return the word goal met, and else if it's less than 30, I want you to return under goal. So in this one we only have one condition there. That's why we don't need another function inside it. Okay, but in our example here, this has to be greater than or equal 30, and the number of laptops compared to the desktops has to be 50% or more. So we have another condition there that we need to use an AND function. So the AND function has two arguments. This is the first one of the arguments, is that C30 is greater than or equal 30. But also the other argument is that the division of number of laptops divided by the donated laptops, or the donated number of computers, this ratio has to be greater than or equal 50% or 0.5. Okay? So this whole AND function is the logical test of the if function. This whole function here, or this whole function here, is the one argument inside the if function. You keep the rest as the same. I missed one of the, okay. I missed a comma there. So this is logical test. This is still logical test because I didn't include the comma there. So if you put a comma there, that will fix the problem. So this is the true value and this is the false value. What you need to do is that you need to use autofill to get the results. Here we need to insert a pivot table. So the pivot table has to be in A10 in this worksheet. So you go and click somewhere on this table, anywhere, and you go to insert pivot table. I will ask you, we're going to use the table range student information that we created before, but we're going to use the existing worksheet. We have already created the worksheet. The location is going to be, you go and click the location, A10, and you click OK. So we inserted a pivot table there. But now we need to configure that table. So we need to show the average volunteer hours for each major. Okay, so here you see the pivot table fields. If this disappears, you can go here and click right-click somewhere, click Show Field List. You can also see it from the pivot table tools, Analyze. You can see field list there. You can show it and hide it. Here we need the volunteer hours and the major. If you just click on that, you'll see that Excel put this in the row, in the major in the rows, and the volunteer hours and the value. This is what we need. But here, we need the average. We don't need the sum. Okay? This shows the sum of total hours for computer science, for engineering, for MIS. Okay, so in order to see the average, you click onto this little arrow there. You click value field setting, and you want to show the average volunteering hours. You click OK, and now this is the average. We need to insert a slicer to show the junior and sophomore. So by default, this will show all the year students. And in order to insert a slicer, you go to Pivot Table Tools, Analyze, Insert Slicer, and that is the year. Click OK. Now we're showing the three major categories: the junior, senior, and sophomore. We want to exclude the senior. So if you click on this one, multi-selection, and you undo the select of the senior, okay, you can undo select all, or you can select whatever you want. So here we need the junior and sophomore showing up there. Keep this open. And we need to sort the average hours from the largest to smallest. So it's already sorted for you from the largest, or not, okay. So we need to sort this from the largest to the smallest. Okay, this has to go up and this has to go down. So by doing that, you have to right click somewhere here in this column, you click sort, and you want to sort from the smallest, or from the largest to the highest, to the smallest, okay? Now we want to insert a 3D pivot chart. We move it to this worksheet. We create a new worksheet called Pivot Chart Analysis. So you click somewhere on this pivot table, and you go to Analyze and Pivot Table or Pivot Chart. We want to be a pie chart, 3D pie chart. All right, so you click OK. And now we want to move it to another worksheet. Don't copy and paste. Use the Design tab here. You have the Move Chart. So Pivot Chart Tools, you go to Move Chart. I'm going to create a new worksheet. We're going to name it Pivot Chart Analysis. You click OK. It shows up there in a new worksheet. And we want to call it, the name is going to be this title. So instead of for total there, we're going to give it this name. I want to remove the legend and add labels that show percentage and category name. So if you click here, you see already the legend is already selected, these ones. So we're going to undo that. And we want to add data labels, more options. And we want the category name show up, and we don't need the value, all right? So we need to show the percentage only. Hide that. You can increase the font or resize the labels to 18. So you go there, everything is selected there. You just go home and you click 18 there. Everything is large and visible. And that's the end of the charting point. Last one is the donation project. Here, we're going to use data table in this one, and we're going to use the goal seeker in this point. So here, everything is configured for you. It's a donation center, but think about it as it has a selling price. So the number of desktops and laptops are inputs here, then they're gonna sell for this value, okay? If they're gonna get it for free, and they have, let's say, a renting facility, and they have to bring some supplies and average cost per device. So this is for the desktops and this is for the laptops. So the total expenses goes to this one. And if you're selling those, this is kind of like the total income for those laptops. You want to know where you kind of like break even. Okay, this is the net donation, this is the subtraction between the total income and the total expenses. So you want to know how many laptops and desktops, or the combination of both, you need in order to break even. So you want the values here to be the net donations. Okay, so we need to configure this table by using data table from what if analysis. Okay, so before we do that, we need a small configuration. We need to configure this table by adding the net donation into this cell here. So by just referring to that cell by equal sign, and we put C15 there and enter. So what's gonna happen now, Excel will try one here and one there and calculate the net donation that shows up here and put the value there. And we'll take 5 from the laptops, plug it there, take 1 from the desktop, plug it there, do the calculation that shows up here and put the result there. So by doing that, you need to select this whole table. You go to data, and you go to what if analysis. We've done scenario managers. We've done the solver in the assignment. I encourage you to go and do that again, be familiar with it. So but here we're gonna do the data table. So we have two values there. So the row inputs, these values here, 1, 5, 10, that goes in the row, these belongs to the laptops, which is this cell. So these values are going to be an input here in this cell. The column input cell for the columns, these values belongs to the desktops. So this one is going to be that one. That's it. You just configured the data table and you just click OK, and you see that Excel will make the calculations for you. So you can see where your breaking points are here, okay? So for example, if you do 10 laptops and 15 desktops, you start gaining like $80 here, okay? The last one here is the goal seeker. So let's say, I already put the functions here as the same as there, okay? So this function is very important because the value here goes all the way up there. So the inputs here that determine the value here, which is determine the value here, which is determine the value there. So this one, part of that one, or this one is subtracted by this one, then you get the results. So if this chain of formulas is broken somewhere, if you decided to, okay, you don't put a function there, you just do that manually and put a value there, then you're gonna break the chain. This will not affect, the changing here will not affect the sum there, okay? So be worried about this. For example, here, I already created a formula there that uses the number of desktops from this cell. So when you're changing values here, that will affect the total value there. For goal seeker, let's say you want the net donations here to be, your goal is 10,000, the net donation, okay? So you go to what if analysis, again under data, what if analysis. This time we need goal seek. So our set cell is this one, and we want the value here to be the 10,000. So you have to manually enter that number, okay? And by changing this value, this is the value of this cell. Okay, we want to change, we put different values there to see the effects of the net donation, but we want to hit 10,000. You click OK. Excel determined that you need 275 number of desktops in order to get a donation of 10,000. Okay, same thing here. If your goal is to get 15,000 of the number of laptops, you go to what if analysis, goal seek. This is your value. This is your cell that you want to change to this value, to the 1500 or 15,000 by changing the number of laptops in this cell. You click OK, and Excel determined that's 333. And that's it. Go and do this again. If you did it incorrectly the first time, be aware or be familiar with all of these functions. For example, here I used COUNTIFs and SUMIFs. Be aware of the other functions that are available. I didn't talk about subtotals. You should look into that. Go and do the 4 previous assignments, and you should be good for the test. Thank you.